Welcome to another episode of The Cynical Writer. Are writers born or made? Well, there are a lot of factors to consider. First of all, writing is not just one skill, but it requires a series of different skills. In my opinion, most writers might have one or two innate skills, such as being naturally gifted at writing description or dialogue, but very few writers are naturally gifted in all areas of writing. For example, writing lyrical prose is very instinctive for me, but I struggle with plot. Writers must compensate for their weaknesses, hopefully improving over time. So it's not an either-or thing. Most writers are gifted in one or two areas of writing, but very few writers are naturally gifted when it comes to all areas of writing. And I think we need to make a distinction between a talent that is instinctive and a talent that comes easily, because they're not the same thing. For example, I can tell instinctively whether prose is lyrical or pleasant sounding to the ear, and whether it's not lyrical or not pleasant sounding to the ear. But I can't always tell you exactly why some prose sounds lyrical or why some prose sounds beautiful and why other prose does not. It's something that's just instinctive for me. I haven't studied formally why certain prose sounds lyrical or artistic or beautiful and why other prose does not. It's something that simply comes natural for me. But something that comes natural, that's very different than something that comes easy. For example, someone might become good at basketball simply by dribbling and by practicing, but they haven't necessarily studied basketball formally. They just know what works and what doesn't work. And I think a similar mindset can be applied to writing. But of course, writers will always have areas that they struggle with. For example, I struggle with plot, and therefore I've had to study plot more formally because that's one of my weak areas, because sometimes I become so caught up in making prose sound beautiful or lyrical that I can sometimes neglect the plot. Because plot on the surface sounds like it's the easiest thing to master, but of course it isn't. Plot is very integral to any kind of story. Now, of course, it's not the only thing to consider, but I think a lot of people take plot for granted because a lot of people think if they've read so many books or they've seen so many movies that coming up with a plot is easy. But of course it isn't. Now, of course, other writers, plot comes naturally to them, but it does not come as naturally to me. Whereas writing beautiful or lyrical prose, that does come more naturally to me. Now, of course, I don't know why. I don't know if it's something that I'm born with or simply something that I accumulated through practicing over and over again. I simply don't know. But don't listen to these writing gurus or teachers that suggest that writers are blank slates, that it's all about the teaching. Because the reason why writing gurus will tell you that is because they want to make money off of you. So it's very easy for them to say that writers aren't born with any innate abilities. But that just isn't true. But at the same time, very few writers are born with every capability that they need in order to succeed at writing. It's very complex and it's not black and white. So I hope you enjoyed my speech for today. You can check out my books in the description section. And until next time, goodbye.